Hello again, friends, and welcome back to my channel, Blue Nose Trading. My name is Tori Solis, and today I'm going to be making a sugar jar with drop-in lid out of clay on the pottery wheel. This jar is thrown and trimmed on the potter's wheel and glazed with handmade glazes in an electric kiln. First things first, I'm going to throw the base for the jar. I like a round base, so that shape is the shape that I'm going to throw. There are lots of different forms and shapes that would make great jars. You can make cylinders, bubbles, whatever suits your fancy. I'm working in a speckled stoneware clay because it's my favorite clay to work with. My favorite clay is from my local clay supplier, Trinity Ceramic Supply in Dallas. After I've thrown the base, I need to take measurement of the interior rim of the jar. It's important to make sure you're measuring the interior of the jar so you're throwing a lid that will fit. I like to mark my ruler with a marker to save my measurement. If you need to make a measurement that is forever ever, you can always mark a wooden ruler and then cut it to the right size. Label it with a Sharpie, the works. Next, I will throw the lid for the jar. This is going to be a simple lid with a lifted wall to serve as the drop-in to close the jar. It's important to measure the outermost width of the ring to match the inner measurement you took of the jar. I suggest you check at least 3 times before you cut off. I also think it's a good idea to check after you make any other adjustments to the lid in other places, just to make sure. If you don't lose your measurement, you can always use that ruler to make another lid if there are any misfortunes between now and done. But if you lose the measurement, you may as well start over, because once the base of the jar starts to dry and shrink, it becomes mathematical gymnastics to figure out what size to throw. If you measure the jar after it's begun to shrink, you will not get an accurate measurement. So it's best not to dally in taking your measurement and to keep it safe until you for sure don't need it anymore. Trimming is straightforward. If the fit is a bit too tight, you can carefully trim the piece to snug. To make the lid easy to open, I'm going to attach a simple organic knob. The design options for these knobs are literally limitless. Be careful trimming the lid and jar that you don't take off too much off of any areas that could affect the fit. It's much less ideal to have to put clay back onto the jar, but not impossible. Because I intend for these jars to be used as sugar bowls, I'm going to carve in a slot for the spoon to sit. I decided halfway through to make my slot much bigger than I originally was thinking, mostly because I like the way this looks better. Once the pieces fit how I want them to, I'm going to get them set together to dry. I like to dry my jars with the lids in them, so if any funny business happens, the lids still fit. I also like to bisque fire my jars with the lids in the jars. I think there are mixed thoughts here potentially, but I always bisque fire my jars with the lids in the jars. I feel like it helps maintain the proper fit. I might be making this up here, but so far it's worked for me. I'm going to glaze the inside of these jars to make them a bit easier to keep clean. I'm also going to glaze the lids of the jars. I'm going to leave the outside body of the jars in their unglazed speckled way. I really like the way the unglazed speckled clay looks. These will both be fired to cone 6 in electric oxidation. Because the inside of the jar is glazed, I will not be able to fire the lid inside of the jar, or they would fuse shut forever. I made these jars as gifts for my mom and my grandma. They're made to be used as sugar bowls. My husband, partner, and best friend Marco handmade the spoon for each jar. I think they're really going to like these fun little jars, and I was able to make a video going over the process to share with y'all, which is also a good time. Thank you so much for joining me this week. For a weekly art video, be sure to subscribe to my channel, Blue Nose Trading. If you'd like to become a super fan and help support my channel, you can become a patron of my work at patreon.com/bluenosetrading. For all my current available ceramic work, visit my website, bluenosetrading.com. Thank you so much for hanging out until the end of the video. Remember that you have great ideas that are worth exploring, drink plenty of water, and I will see y'all next week.